devastating flash flooding to Greece. Find out what caused the excessive rainfall and how long it's going to affect the country. And the first day of fall is just around the corner, but find out what state received a surprise preview of winter over the holiday weekend. Plus, how urbanization and above average heat can have an adverse impact on local wildlife.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan, filling in for Chief Meteorologist Wes White this evening. Thank you for joining us on our all-weather streaming show, which in less than a week is going to be going live on air on that good old-fashioned television. This time next week, actually going to debut on air September 11th at 6:30. So if you can't catch us on the streaming platform, you can always tune in the old-fashioned way as well. But we do want to make sure we got you covered on all things weather and giving you that first alert for a chance of storms for tomorrow. Let's get a look at that severe outlook. I think most of us will likely be seeing the best chance for a strong to severe storm across northwest Alabama. And you're going to start off the day tomorrow very quiet, but from about 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. that's the window when we could see storms coming in from the northwest that could produce the possibility of some damaging wind gusts and of course some heavy rain. So as we look at those threats here, it looks like heavy rain is going to be a surefire guarantee as these storms come in, and some frequent lightning. Can't rule out a chance for some damaging winds and large hail too, but I would be more concerned about that wind threat as these storms come in. So this isn't just for us here in north and central Alabama. This extends all the way up into the Great Lakes and as far west as Mississippi. So for especially northwest Alabama, as these storms come in, that's where I think we're going to see that threat for some severe wind gusts, and can't rule out some large hail as they get farther to the south and east, like in east central Alabama. They should be weaker. So we're starting off tomorrow morning with a partly cloudy sky. Most of us will be dry. I think the best chance for seeing a shower or storm in the morning hours is going to be across far north Alabama. And then as we get into the middle of the afternoon, here we are at 3 o'clock, models showing, okay, there could be some storms, a disturbance moving in from the northwest. As it pushes to the southeast, that's when it's going to have that potential to produce damaging wind gusts, and you'll see a lot of rain possible with this as well. So the best chance of seeing a strong to severe storm, I think, is likely going to be north and west of that I-2059 corridor, and these storms will continue to push to the south and east through the evening. So if you live somewhere like Anniston, down towards Talladega, over towards Ashland, maybe your chance of seeing a shower storm is going to be a little bit less, but we do expect that rain should be coming to an end closer to midnight, and then as we get into Thursday, some changes in the forecast. So I think you'll like those changes, but we'll talk about that more coming up shortly on Weather Extra. In the meantime, around the world, central Greece experiencing heavy rainfall in what the Prime Minister is calling a totally extreme weather phenomenon. Hundreds of millimeters of rain have fallen in the last 24 hours as a strong area of low pressure passed over the country. The torrential rain flooded homes, businesses, and even damaged roads. The National Meteorological Services in Europe officially naming the storm Daniel as it continues to bring wet weather to Greece and other islands in the Mediterranean over the next couple of days. These storms in the Mediterranean are actually known as medicanes, which can bring dangerous weather similar to tropical storms and hurricanes in the Atlantic basin. And this comes after raging wildfires devastated parts of the country earlier this summer that we covered right here on Weather Extra. And in Spain, nearby, Storm Dana brought torrential rain to Toledo, almost an hour away from Madrid. Aerial footage showing the damage of Sunday's storm. The president of Spain calling the impacts, quote, very hard and hostile, saying that La Mancha government will be assessing the impacted areas. Rain continued today for central portions of Spain, but will not be as widespread as Sunday's event, although some areas could still see some heavy downpours. And back here in the States, the Lahaina fire on Maui is now 100% contained, according to a new update. The fire started on August 8th and burned 2,200 acres. Meanwhile, the Olinda fire is 90% contained and the Kula fire is 95% contained. A list compiled by the FBI and the Red Cross states that 385 people are still unaccounted for, while the governor states there are still 41 people missing. And in Louisiana, check out these satellite images of a fire that's burned more than 31,000 acres. The Agriculture and Forestry authorities in Beauregard Parish say the fire was caused by arson. This comes after several other area wildfires have already forced people to evacuate. As of Sunday, the Tiger Island fire was 55% contained. As some states prepare to head back to school after the Labor Day holiday, some are having to make emergency changes because of extreme heat. Barry Sims has the latest.
The delivery of a room cooling unit by a school maintenance employee. Baltimore City Public Schools trying to keep students cool and comfortable as the new school year begins.
We've got quite a few moving parts, but the end game is simple: to continue learning and doing it in a safe and healthy manner.
Due to extremely warm temperatures, this coming Tuesday and Wednesday, the district is making adjustments at schools without air conditioning, like Cross Country Elementary Middle School on the city's northwest side and Harlem Park Elementary Middle in West Baltimore. A total of 11 schools, including a charter school, will be on a modified schedule that will impact about 3,000 students.
There's going to be a mini heat wave of sorts that will impact Baltimore City.
Here's how this will work. According to the district, students who attend these schools in 2nd through 12th grades will remain at home, have access to laptop computers, and receive virtual learning. The school system says it is developing a plan to provide meals for these students. Pre-K students will also have virtual learning. Kindergartners and first graders will report to their classrooms, but will be on an early release schedule. The district says transportation and meals will be provided as usual. School officials say when it's 85 degrees outside, the temperatures inside the building can get much warmer.
It's just not possible to safely get the buildings down to a temperature where heat, number one, isn't a distraction, or that folks are having exertion or other means that will lead to them being in an unhealthy environment.
And afternoon highs in the Baltimore area are expected to be in the 90s every day this week. Well, still ahead on First Alert Weather Extra, we're taking a look at the month ahead with meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson. Plus, we, of course, are going to be tracking the storms that we expect to see tomorrow. Could be here by this time tomorrow evening. We have a new tropical storm that has developed out in the Atlantic and some delays on that fall harvest. First Alert Weather Extra will be right back.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Good Day, Alabama.
A new morning comes with preparing right, because while you slept, news broke.
We have new information from that breaking news that happened this morning.
While you head out, the storm we gave you the first alert for is on its way in. And as the key turns the ignition, your shorter route to work is being found.
Avoid 459 southbound completely because of a crash.
A new morning means everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama, always on your side.
The First Alert traffic you need to get you there safe and on time. Tomorrow morning, everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama.
You're late, out the door, and on the go. Don't worry.
Good Day, Alabama continues all morning long.
And wherever you watch, this is what you need to know right now.
More reporters on the streets with more hours of news when you need it. Everything you need for a good day is on Good Day Alabama. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather. Good Day Alabama has all the information you need to plan the day ahead.
That's why we're in your neighborhood every morning, making sure you're prepared.
When you hit the roads, we're on your side, helping you get to your destination on time and getting you back to your routine.
With everything you need to keep you and your family safe.
Trust your day with the largest morning team on your side.
So you can have a
Good day, Alabama!
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan, meteorologist Matt Daniel, and Mickey Ferguson join us now with a much-awaited fall countdown.
Hey, Mickey.
Hey.
We made it to September.
Yes, and we have the Alabama seasonal calendar here.
How to make a sound effect.
Yeah, we've got the hurricane scare, where the tropics are really active. In September, it's our most active part of the hurricane season. And beyond that, we have the following.
Yeah, so we melted, a few weeks ago. We've kept ourselves together. It's a little cooler now. It's not as hot. And we're going to be watching the tropics, and hopefully we have some cooler temperatures in the horizon. So let's go ahead and talk about fall, shall we? Let's do a countdown.
We shall. The first day of fall, 18 days away, and then 56 days away is October the 31st, known as Halloween.
Boo.
Daylight saving time ends in 61 days,
Yes.
where we fall back.
That is right. So we gain a little sleep. So there you go. And also, if you're a big fan of Christmas, how many days left do we have for Christmas? So you've got a good time to buy some gifts if you're one of those people. So I've got Lauren to help us out. We've got 111 days left until Christmas.
Well, she is a great Christmas shopper. She thinks of everyone, gets some gifts really, really early in the season.
Right, and if you want some suggestions, you can get a Christmas tree. This could be a nice little gift early for
Get somebody
Christmas.
a Christmas tree.
Some candy canes.
Yeah, to maybe go on the Christmas
For
tree.
the stocking, it's getting cold, so maybe a scarf.
Yes, that's a good present.
It'd be even really awesome present.
A new car!
Yeah, so there you go. Aren't you excited about Christmas?
Yes.
And then you'll be in debt for years. Anyways, we're talking about your sunset times. And this is a big story because, as we're getting closer to winter, we're losing a lot of daylight.
Yep, till we get to that winter solstice, the shortest period of daylight here in the northern hemisphere. But sunset times going down to 5:55 by November 1st, not too far away.
And that's before we fall back because, of course, it'll be in the 4 o'clock hour. So there you go. Sunrise times tomorrow, 6:24. On October 1st, 6:41. And then by November, it's going to be after 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So we'll be watching Good Day at 7, and that's when we'll have that sunshine showing up. And of course, monthly average rainfall for September is pretty dry. Mickey?
Yeah, it's one of our driest months of the year. October is the lowest, where we average about a little over 3 inches of rain.
Yeah, and then it starts to pick up as we go into November and December. So that's pretty typical for us. High temperatures, of course, September is technically meteorological fall, which means those temperatures begin to fall. So on average, we will see highs into the mid-80s. And check out October. I will always love October. 70s for highs. Picture perfect weather.
Just right. Average low temperatures, we're here at about 65 degrees, but it drops off more than 10 degrees going into next month.
That's right. And you start to have to deal with some frosts, and of course by November, December, some freezes. So it's getting here before too soon. And then here you go. We love fall photos. Of course, it's going to be a while before we start seeing those colors, but if you got some photos, sunrises, sunsets, feel free to submit them through the WBRC First Alert Weather app.
Or maybe even Lauren could share some of those early Christmas presents she buys for people.
That's true. So, I'm looking forward to the season.
Okie dokie.
You are dead to me. Sending a little text to Matt right now. Well, new studies show that some wild animals are affected by heat and urbanization. After researchers analyzed pictures from 20 metropolitan areas, they found that animals such as raccoons, rabbits, foxes, and more did better in urban areas that were cooler with plenty of plants and trees. Scientists also found that there were more diverse ecosystems in cities with less concrete and car congestion, and the heat produced by these urban areas is making cities less hospitable for animals. And that study was published in the Nature Ecology and Evolution journal. Well, invasive species aren't only causing environmental troubles, they're also costing the world billions. That's according to the United Nations, where they say about $423 billion are spent each year. These invasive species drive plant and animal extinction, threaten food security, and make environmental disasters worse. Scientists say these plants and animals are spread to new areas or regions through human activity and become invasive when they create negative impacts on local ecosystems. There are currently 37,000 invasive species, with 3,500 considered harmful, with at least 200 new species being recorded every year. Well, the raisin grape harvest is running behind schedule this season. Rich Rodriguez explains why growers are taking their time picking grapes.
Stephen Cardoza farms more than 300 acres of organic grapes in Fresno County. Normally by this time, he's close to wrapping up the season. But all the rain we got this winter has impacted ripening of the crop.
The last 3 years, we've been completely done picking. The raisins have been done drying. They've been picked up and put in the barn before September 11th.
Before these grapes are spread on a paper tray so they can dry in the sun, they have to be sweet. Cardoza says you can't rush Mother Nature.
Lately, these cooler weathers are also impacting sugar uptake in the vines. So people tend to stop irrigating and try to drive their sugar ups on their grapes so their quality is a little bit better.
Cardoza is very passionate about organic agriculture and believes the raisins he produces are like medicine to consumers. National Raisin Company packs his fruit.
We pack under Newman's Own, so the same company that makes a salad dressing that everybody loves. They have an organic raisin label that you can buy in pretty much any store.
Unlike previous years, Cardoza's crew won't be finished picking the crop until mid-September. That means it probably won't be out of the field until the end of the month. Rich Rodriguez, Fox 26 News.
Wow, well, we hope that does improve for them. Well, coming up next on First Alert Weather Extra, we've been tracking the possibility of storms here at home, but we have a new tropical storm out in the Atlantic. We'll cover that. And of course, before we do that, we want to give you a look at today's First Alert Weather Almanac.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys. We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The First Alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. A new tropical storm formed in the Atlantic just a few hours ago. We have Tropical Storm Lee that is out over open waters right now with max sustained winds of 45 miles per hour. The thing with Lee is it's likely going to rapidly strengthen as it moves across the Atlantic basin west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. By this time tomorrow, it could be a hurricane, and then you'll notice as it continues to the west-northwest, just continuing to grow in strength. I do think it's going to manage to stay away from the Caribbean, but it will be just to the north of it, and it's moving into an environment that's going to be favorable for strengthening. You'll have weak upper level winds and very warm ocean water that could possibly put it as a Category 4 hurricane later in the weekend as it passes just to the north of Puerto Rico. So we're going to have to watch this storm closely. I don't think it's going to be an issue for the Gulf Coast, but as we look at our American model here showing a possible scenario as it moves across the Atlantic, it could possibly be a major hurricane by the weekend. But I think the East Coast and Bermuda out in the middle of the Atlantic need to keep a close eye on this, because even if it recurves away from the coast, for us, it could cause along the eastern seaboard the potential for a high rip current risk or some rough surf. So need to keep a close eye on Lee in the days ahead. But there are a couple of other areas we're watching out in the eastern Atlantic. You see up here closer to Europe, that area highlighted in yellow, that's actually the remnants of Franklin. A low chance that that could redevelop into something later this week closer to Portugal. But we also have that little tropical wave train that's coming off of the west coast of Africa. And this disturbance here that just emerged out over open water to the west of Senegal has a high chance of development as it moves out into the Atlantic over the next week. So the next name on the list would be Margot. So we'll see if that ends up happening. This is nothing unusual. As we look at the activity for hurricane season, which runs from June 1st through November 30th, we're right at the peak. The climatological peak actually occurs on Sunday, September 10th. So we are right here, exactly what we expect the Atlantic basin to be very active this time of the year. But fortunately for now, looking good on the Gulf Coast in the wake of Idalia. For now, First Alert AccuTrack is showing us fairly quiet, just a few sprinkles areas across North Alabama. Otherwise, a warm and humid evening. Now, we mentioned rain and storms for tomorrow. That best chance to see a strong to severe storm, even though all of us in north and central Alabama are under a level 1 out of 5 risk. I think the more robust storms could be across northwest Alabama, especially if these storms manage to come in during the middle of the day around 3-4 p.m. That's going to be the heat of the day. So storms will be able to produce some strong wind gusts, if not some frequent cloud to ground lightning. But notice the farther to the south and east you go, as you get past that I-2059 corridor, the rain coverage begins to go down a little bit. That's not to say if you live in Anniston, Talladega, Rockford, or Ashland, Clinton, that you couldn't see a strong to severe storm, but by the time the storms get to you, it'll probably be after sunset, and they won't be as robust as they would be areas like maybe Jasper, Fayette, Coleman, or Hamilton. So as we look at that rain coverage here over the next few days, once we get past tomorrow, I think by Thursday and Friday, we're just going to continue to see that coverage going down. And then by the weekend, looking much drier. In that weekend forecast, not too shabby. It does look like we're actually going to be dealing with some much drier air in the forecast. But in the meantime, we're going to be keeping a close eye on that chance for rain and storms for tomorrow. You can see that Futurecast data again showing that best chance for seeing storms likely after 3 p.m. for tomorrow as those storms race in to the south and east. So maybe dry for the morning commute tomorrow, afternoon commute, not so much. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But we've been talking about storms here in Alabama, and even though we still have a ways to go before the end of summer, some places in Utah are already getting a taste of winter. Darian DeBrula actually has more on how much people have been enjoying that first snow.
Some spent Labor Day enjoying the sights, smells, and sounds of Oktoberfest. Others took a ride through the clouds on the Snowbird tram to see snow?
We saw they posted about it, so we hopped in the car. Yeah, had to come up and see it for ourselves. We always chase the first snow of the season, and we're so happy.
We're from Jacksonville, Florida, and we were not expecting it.
No.
And the snow didn't disappoint first-timers.
I can't believe of it. Like when my feet sunk in, I was like, oh.
Yeah, she like stepped in it. And we just like kind of screamed. Oh my God.
She immediately threw a snowball at me.
Oh yeah, of course. I think I've thrown a snowball at everybody here.
Or locals.
So excited that it's snowing and that winter is here, even if just for a day or two.
As you can see, Hidden Peak at Snowbird got such a nice dusting of snow, but this isn't the only place in the state that saw some powder. Bald Mountain Pass and the high Uinta Mountains had a layer of snow covering the road Monday morning.
This isn't unusual. We'll see snow anywhere from late August into mid-September is our first official snow up in those really high elevations.
Christine Cruz, lead meteorologist for the National Weather Service in Salt Lake City, says Monday's high elevation snow is not indicative of a snowy upcoming winter.
So far, it's equal chances. We're going to have to watch to see how the jet stream sets up, where high pressure sets up off the Pacific coast. And see, like last year, we were in that storm path the entire winter.
So for now, snow enthusiasts are enjoying a winter tease.
The weather in Utah is such that you never expect or don't expect anything. Certainly surprising, but you know, it snowed early September a couple of years ago, and lightning struck twice.
At Snowbird, Darian DeBrule, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, check this out. We were just talking about Utah, but let's take a trip across the pond. Sumatran tiger cubs at the London Zoo found a swimmingly good way to beat the heat. Oh my God, how cute is this? These cool cats caught a good breeze in their private pool. Must be nice to have a private pool. The zoo released photos of the tiger family enjoying the water in spite of the ongoing heat wave. There is only an estimated 300 Sumatran tigers left in the wild, making them the world's rarest subspecies of tigers. Oh my goodness, they are so beautiful and look like they are enjoying that pool. I mean, I know Matt and Mickey were giving the fall countdown, which I still have some beef with them, by the way. We'll be talking with them shortly, but we are still going to be seeing summer-like temperatures in the forecast. I actually want to pull up the forecast for you behind me so we can get a full look at that 7-day. So we'll likely still have 90s through at least Wednesday and Thursday, and I think highs will be fairly seasonable Friday into the weekend, early next week, upper 80s, low 90s. We're going to have some drier air coming in. We've got that first alert for storm, so we can expect that Wednesday night. But as we get into Thursday, those rain chances beginning to dwindle as that drier air comes in. And so the benefit of that drier air, yes, it can still be hot in the afternoon, but it would be more of a dry heat than a humid heat. And that dry air overnight can drop low temperatures. So we'll be seeing a little hint of fall with temperatures in the 60s. But I see that and I'm like, oh, it's not going to be that humid, so you can still go to the pool, right? So you make the call this weekend, whether you're going to indulge in a pumpkin spice latte or hanging out by the pool. I think the weather will fit your needs, whatever they may be. But at least looking dry for college football this weekend. I think also good for Sideline on Friday night. Well, that's it for Weather Extra this evening, but make sure you check back in with us tonight on First at 9 on WBRC Fox 6 News. And I hope you have a safe and happy Tuesday evening.